Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Saturday. This is a very photogenic angle. I recently got a new job as a librarian, which is my dream job. I have been waiting for this opportunity for many a year, and it is finally here, and so I have been there for a little bit, not a long time, but enough to know the ropes. And so I thought I would take you on what it's like to work over the weekend at a library, and also how I read, because honestly the weekend is really the most time I have available to read, because my regular week is taken up with more hours from my job, and the weekend is the most free time I have, even though I still work on the weekend. So I thought I would take you with me and show you a little bit of what I do at the library and the kinds of things I like to do to enjoy my weekend of just reading. And it is summertime, so we're going to celebrate some summer stuff, particularly food. This morning, it's not real complicated. I just have peanut butter toast. So let's go to work, and I will show you what I do during my day. My morning commute is pretty quick, which is nice because I have another job that requires me to travel quite a distance, and it had just rained, so everything is a bit dewdroppy. Oh, my awkward bites of that toast. Speaking of the toast, I don't actually have peanut butter toast for our breakfast very often, but this week has been so busy, and I've been so tired, what with learning how to do a new job and transitioning out of an old job, that sometimes you just have to cut corners on your morning routine to get as much sleep as you can, and so I wind up eating peanut butter toast instead of, I don't know, something more intense like oatmeal. But I wouldn't have it any other way. It is the kind of tired that is the good tired, where you feel exhausted because you did a good job. And I love my parking spot because it is right next to the building, so I don't have to walk very far. Okay, so then I unlock the doors as soon as I get there. I don't unlock all of them because we're not open to the public right away when I get into work. I usually get into work about an hour beforehand, but I unlock enough just to get me in and get everything moving. And the first thing I do is go back to put my stuff away in the staff room. It's usually freezing in there, even in the summertime, because the AC is on full blast. Excuse that weird plastic sheet. That's what we use for COVID protection. And then my first job in the morning is always to go get the mail, which is nice because it's literally just around the corner on the street. And I actually had like 5 minutes of, I couldn't remember which mailbox was ours, so I tried my key in a whole bunch of different boxes. But I usually go to pick up all of the newspapers because we do get those delivered daily, and they go in the rack in their specific spot. Then it is time for air conditioning, which is an essential, like I said, because we have a massive skylight and the sun just radiates it in. But sometimes that's not always enough, and so I have my good buddy there next to my circulation desk. When I get back from doing the mail, it's time to get all the returns. Friday was a quiet day, so we didn't have a whole lot of stuff to check in, which is nice. And I put out the box for the present day. It is Saturday, and then I do Thursdays check-ins because we leave a day in between for COVID reasons. And I log into the computer and get ready to check in the books. It's one of my favorite jobs. It's so satisfying. And then one thing that I like to make sure I do right away is to clear out all of the overdue books that we have. We don't really have too many too many patrons who have outstanding overdue books, but I like to do that right away so that we don't have to waste time calling people when they've actually already turned in their book. So I just go through, I have a binder of all the names of patrons who have overdue books, and I cross them off as soon as I get them. So sometimes it takes me a little longer to do this depending on the amount of books I have to check in, but it's just something for peace of mind, that one less thing for me to do later on in the day. And inevitably, I will take a break in my morning routine to look up at the beautiful skylight and the gorgeous green plants and the fresh oxygen and just how aesthetic they are, and I'm just so thankful that this is something I get to do. And my favorite part of the day, turning on all the lights because it is still bright and cheerful. That way we are ready to go directly at 9 o'clock and the doors open for the patrons. Also, I take time for coffee because it's slow sometimes in the morning, and I like to sit and just enjoy my time. actually one of my favorite things to do during desk circulation check-in time is puzzles. We have a huge puzzle collection at our library, and we actually have a big group of volunteers who come and put puzzles together during the day to make sure that all of our donated puzzles have all of their pieces. But if someone does check a puzzle out, I have to count all of the pieces before I check it in. That was 750. That was a lot. And then I like to do some reshelving in between bursts of patience so that I stay on top of it. It was a quiet day and not a whole lot of stuff had to get reshelved, so that was good. And I don't know what this series is, but someone has been cleaning out the junior graphic novel section and has been going like gangbusters reading those, so that's awesome. And then I usually spend the rest of my time working on various programming projects. So for the past few days, I have been working on a September What's in the Library scavenger hunt with fun questions that allow people to be creative and use their imagination with the library's resources. It's just a great way to familiarize people or refamiliarize people after the summer reading program about what's in the library and how to use it, and to appreciate the kinds of things we have to offer, whether it's digital or print media. And then it is time to shut off the lights and do the reverse of what I did in the morning, because I'm off the clock at noon on Saturday. So I literally do the opposite, except for the mail, of what I did when I came in, and I turn off all the lights and I lock all the doors. I do actually have to check the bathrooms, but I didn't want to show you that part. And then I head back out to my car to go get some lunch. Hello everyone. Sorry if you can hear my really noisy engine. It is hot, and so I needed to turn the AC on. I'm all done at the library today. It's my short day for the weekend, so I decided that this afternoon I'm gonna go do some baking. I have some rhubarb in my garden that needs to be used, so I'm gonna go make, I think, a strawberry rhubarb coffee cake type thing, but I'm also starving because it is lunchtime, so I'm gonna go grab some lunch from my grocery store and then go home and do some reading and baking and laundry. Need to do laundry, so I will keep you updated on my reading vlog and my typical afternoon reading likes for the weekend. So I think that's it for now. I just wanted to give a little bit of a reading update now that my strawberry rhubarb filling is chilling in the fridge before I start on the actual cake part of my coffee cake. I just finished Eva Luna by Isabel Allende, and this was a much lighter read than things I have read in the past. Still difficult, but not quite as dark and heavy as things previous this year. That being said, it seems like a lot of books I've read lately, particularly in this section of the Around the World in 325 Days South America version or edition, there's not really a whole lot of climax or tension or an inciting incident really at all. They're nice, they're sort of gentle rides through the story, but there's nothing really to captivate me in any of these books, and I'm a little disappointed. I have one more to go, which is 100 Years of Solitude, which I'm going to pick up after I get my cake in the oven. But I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm not in the right headspace for these. I did give this 3 out of 5 stars. I'll do my full review at the end of the month, but it was enjoyable. I mean, it was beautifully written. I thought there was great representation in here, particularly for the trans community, and so, you know, it wasn't that I didn't enjoy it. It just, I wasn't on the edge of my seat. I wasn't really entertained by anything short of, I really liked Eva's narration, and it was beautifully written. So I'm a little disappointed. That's kind of how it's been for the past month or so with reading. So I'm also hoping to finish Little Women. I'm on the audiobook. So I probably will just update you when I'm done with that, because it's an audiobook, so I will probably just get some household stuff done while listening to that. But I will let you know if I do finish that tonight. It would be nice because I've been working on that one since middle of July. So I think that's it for now. It's just kind of been a weird past few weeks of reading. Nothing really, super exciting. So I'm hoping that 100 Years of Solitude is really good, says I could use an entertaining read. I do have one coming after that one. I'm planning on hopefully next week picking up Pride and Prejudice. That's the last book I have from my Elite 8 from Book March Madness, but I'm listening to the audiobook of that. But I have one more Brother Band Chronicles book, and I'm so excited to finally get to that one because I love that series so much. And I think if 100 Years of Solitude proves to be as sort of lackluster as the rest of these are, then I'm gonna really look forward to reading that. But I hope this one is good. And like I said, I've enjoyed all of them that I've read, but just nothing real super exciting. So I think that's it for now in terms of reading updates. I will get my cake in the oven, and then I will update you on my first thoughts of 100 Years of Solitude. Here is the finished product. It's very brown and very hot, but I think it will be good fully cooked in the middle. It took about an hour to cook all the way through, so I'm excited to cut in and see all the good pink strawberry rhubarby goodness, but I do have to let it cool completely, otherwise it'll crumble and fall apart. But that brown sugar crumble topping on top looks delicious, and it's still melty. So it's gonna be nice and caramelized and yummy, so I'm excited to try it. So now that that's done, it is 5 o'clock, almost 5 o'clock. That took up a large chunk of my afternoon, but that's nice. I haven't really baked anything in a long time, and I really like doing that on weekends with good seasonal fruits and veggies. I like cooking and baking. It's one of my favorite things. But that did take up a large chunk of time, but I did intersperse it with finishing Eva Luna, and I got a few more chapters of Little Women finished. I'm using a free audiobook on YouTube. Someone just uploaded it from another audiobook site. I like to do that with well-known classic books just so I don't have to pay any money. But it's in video chunks, so like it'll be 52 videos for the entire book, but the videos don't line up with the chapters, so I think I'm around chapter 42, somewhere in there. Beth has already died, and Laurie has proposed to Amy. Those are 2 huge spoilers if you've never read that book before, but it's pretty commonly and well known if you've seen the movies. So anyway, that was nice. I will need to do some housework this evening, and I'm hoping to finish that. And for now, I just finished the first chapter of 100 Years of Solitude. I love this cover. So far, it's been pretty good. Very jungly, as most of these South American ones are. It's got a lot of magical realism in it, which is also very similar to the others that I've read in this particular section of the Around the World in 325 Days reading challenge. So far, there's been interesting little notes of history, of inventions, and how limited in world access these smaller jungle villages have, but I don't really have an idea of the overarching plot of this book. From what it sounds like, it's another family history of a magical mythical town called Macondo. I don't remember what country this is supposed to be. I want to say Argentina. Don't quote me on that. I'll look it up and put it in later. But again, like a lot of these books that I've read, it's won a Nobel Prize. And so far, all of the Nobel Prize books I've read have been less than appealing. Whoa, I don't know if that's just me not being able to appreciate that kind of literature, or whether it's just not the type of literature I'd enjoy. But so far, I'm enjoying it. I'm hoping that maybe this will maybe be a little more entertaining than Wind from the Carolinas, which is a similar premise of one family's history on the Bahamas, because that was pretty platonic all the way through. So I'm hoping that this will be a little more interesting. But so far I really like it. Very vivid imagery. It's gonna have a lot of, I think, magical elements in it, or like magical realism elements in it, which is something I haven't read a lot of. So I'm excited to read more of that. And I think I'm just gonna read until it's time for me to make dinner, and then I'll give you an update to how far I made it then. Here is the finished product of my strawberry rhubarb coffee cake. Oh, it's so good. Hello. You can probably hear my fan in the background. I was gonna give a reading update for the end of today because I had some stuff that I wanted to do outside, but I laid down to get off my feet after having been on my feet in the kitchen for several hours this afternoon at like 5:30, and then immediately passed out while trying to read and woke up at 7. And then I made myself dinner and promptly fell back asleep. I guess this week has just wiped me out. So I am going to, I think, end this particular part of the vlog here, and I will update you in the morning with how far I've read, because I am not in an analytical headspace at the moment. I'm so tired. So I'm going to do one of my favorite things on hot summer days, which is drink my Canada Dry Zero Sugar with lemonade. It's my all-time favorite thing. I did buy actual lemonade at the grocery store today, which was one of the things that I wanted to do, was to make frozen lemonade, but I think that's gonna have to wait until tomorrow because it's almost 10 o'clock and I don't want to. So tomorrow we're gonna do some more fun stuff that I like to do on the weekend after getting off of work. We're gonna go check out a favorite restaurant of mine, which is in one of my favorite spots to read in the summer, and we have a really fun community thing that I'm going to go to this evening. And what else? I think that's it. And then we'll do some frozen lemonade tomorrow evening. I think that's the plan. I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to go to bed because I'm exhausted. Hello, welcome to one of my favorite things to do on Sunday. Look at that latte. It's so big. I could swim in that mug. Ugh. This is the cafe, one of my favorite places to come on a busy weekend and just enjoy some delicious food, farm to table, local farmers. Oh, look at that. I'm drooling. It's only been 24 hours since I've eaten the thing and I want to eat it again. That's a BLT. Emphasis on the T, because it is a bacon, lettuce, tomato, egg, and avocado open-faced sandwich. Oh, look at that runny yolk on homemade sourdough bread. I know it's sort of stereotypical and everyone's learning how to make sourdough bread in quarantine, or in quarantine. It's not quarantine anymore, but you know, I will never complain. You will never hear me complain about sourdough bread because being stereotypical, because it's my favorite thing ever to eat. They have a really great music playlist that plays at this restaurant, and I'm at a different table than I normally am. Usually I like to ask for a table by the windows, but they were pretty busy today and I got there a little late, so they sat me next to this cool little orange lamp that's like a permanent golden hour. So I'm not complaining because August is golden hour month. Also, I could eat about a bucket of those potato chips. They're so good. Hello everybody. So this is my other job. And usually when I'm working here, I like to go on Sundays and have a little hangout time before I come back to the office after worship. And so you got to witness one of my favorite places to go hang out. The food was insane, which I'm sure I said in the voiceover. One thing I didn't say is that I have multiple places that I like to go depending on the time of year. Yes, I am that picky with my food. Not in terms of the type of food I eat, but the style of cooking of the food I eat changes with the seasons. And that particular restaurant does so good at farm fresh spring and summer seasonal fruits and veg, which is one of my favorite things to do. I like to eat with the nature clock. And oh, those tomatoes. They were so good. So good, and they do the best homemade potato chips that I've ever eaten in my entire life. So it was great fun to go hang out. I haven't been able to do that in the past couple weeks with the insane schedule of getting a new job. So it was great to go and do that again during the summer. I've taken so many people there with me. It was the first restaurant I actually went to when I first got this particular job, and it has consistently wowed me. Anyway, that was a nice little brunch. They do amazing brunch. I'm going to give you an update on 100 Years of Solitude because that is what I have been reading all of today. Question. This is perhaps an unpopular bookish opinion. Do you prefer chapter numbers or do you just prefer new chapters? I kind of like chapter numbers because I often measure my reading by every 5 chapter increments. I'm the same way with the volume on the TV, a little bit of OCD. I have to have it on a volume of 5, an increment of 5, I mean. And so I like reading 5 chapters at a time because it's about 50 pages. And I try to do that every time I sit down and read 50 pages. Weird bookish preference. Anyway, but I'm in the middle of chapter 3, and so far I'm really enjoying it. It is a little bizarre. So there is this family. I'm gonna get the guy's name because I'm gonna butcher it if I don't look. Jose Arcadio Buendia, who is the patriarch of this particular family, and he is someone who believes in magic or the power of the unknown. Currently he's obsessed with alchemy. And he started this community called Macondo in the middle of the jungle, and a lot of paranormal magic-y stuff has been happening. Not I don't want to say this is magical realism, it's not fantasy. The stuff is very elemental and like tarot card kind of magic, the bizarre hallucination type of magic, if that makes sense, like the ability to see into the future and that kind of thing. But again, it's not a fantasy book. That's just what magical realism is, elements of real life that are made magical by strange happenings. But anyway, he started this community with his family and a bunch of other families, and already they're kind of in tumult because he's been wasting money, and a bunch of random people show up in the village. So I'm not entirely sure, again, what the overarching plot of this is, or whether there even is one, or whether it's just about the strange magical stuff that happens in the middle of the jungle. This is a fictional city. It's not a real place. There's a lot to do with traveling carnivals and the weird stuff that happens with them. There is one medicine man that keeps coming back, and I just read a spoiler that people thought he was dead, and he's not dead. So anyway, so that's how far I am. I'm on page 48, I think. So I haven't really made a whole lot of progress in this book. I'm hoping to do that this evening. But for now, I need to finish this up, the work that I'm doing, and then I will have a little bit more time to read before I go home. And then I have some fun community activities that are happening this evening, so I'm excited for that. And then we get to make a frozen lemonade. I'm so excited. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my backyard. I made my frozen lemonade. So I made it back in time to go to a community sweet corn feed, which we were raising funds for a local, well, not a local, it's a global mission project we do for food sustainability and economical development, environmental development. It's one of my favorite things to do in the summertime, but I didn't get there enough to do, or in time enough to do the activities that were there, but I will insert a picture of the sweet corn here. It's so good. It's my favorite summertime food, as most people in Iowa would agree with. But we're done with a long week of work, and so now I'm going to sit and read some more of this and drink my delicious lemonade. Oh, it's so good. So sour. It's my favorite thing. And I will probably turn the mood lights on back here. And I think that's it for now. I will update you when I've read some more. Also, for those of you who are wondering, I make my frozen lemonade with non-sweetened lemonade. I like the sour stuff, and I literally just take whatever ice cubes I have in the fridge or freezer and put them in, and then I fill it up to that amount with the lemonade, and I just blend it, so it's kind of like a slushie, and then I add more liquid to it if I need to. But it's my favorite thing, and it's so cold you don't even have to refrigerate the lemonade. It's my favorite thing. Sometimes I'll add blended fruit to it, but today I didn't have any, so it was just the lemonades. I used all my strawberries in the coffee cake. It is beautiful weather today. We had a midnight thunderstorm a few days ago, and it is gorgeous outside. No humidity, beautiful breeze, so 80 is only 80. There's no heat index. It's just so nice out. Like, even as I'm just sitting here, I'm like, it's warm, bordering on hot, but it's bearable. And in Iowa, that's saying a lot in late August, because normally it is stifling, but it's so nice. And every once in a while you'll just get a faint whiff of breeze. No, the leaves are not changing color. That's just how brilliant the sunset is. It is golden hour, and I'm loving every minute of it. So I just made it to chapter 4 in 100 Years of Solitude, which is on page 58. And I'm about that far through. So I made a good start yesterday, and today I'm going to read some more before I go to bed, but I think I'm going to leave it there. It's been a weekend with work, but also really nice and relaxing and enjoying some of my favorite things. I do want to give you a little bit of a reading update. I forgot to mention when I was talking about this book yesterday that I'm going to read you the beginning sentence of this book because it's really interesting. Also, can you hear the cicadas? They're so loud tonight. Okay. Many years later, as he faced the firing squad, Colonel Aureliano Buendia was to remember that distant afternoon when his father took him to discover ice. There's an opening sentence that I forgot to tell you about. So I think Aureliano is going to be sort of the focus for a while. There are other characters in there that have prominence in the story, but I think he's going to be the main one. And he sort of has a gift, because like I said, this is a mythical town with magical realism. He sort of has a gift of foresight and feelings. He becomes a colonel in an upcoming war, which is hinted at. And we got a little bit more of that because, what's his name? Don Apollinare Moscote just arrived in Macondo, and he's the first trace of government and has shown up from the capital. He's been dispatched to this town, and the townspeople don't like it because part of the reason why they moved was to separate themselves from the stress of being governed. And so far they have had no qualms. They say they've been so peaceful, no one has died a natural death. And so this is sort of the first trace of discomfort that has come through the town. And the chapters are very episodic, which I kind of like. A different event happens in each chapter. I think this reminds me a little bit more of like a combination of what did I just finish? Evil Luna and I read it 2019, Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, where it's characters very episodic. Midnight in the Garden was first person, but this is third person. So it's kind of like a combination of both, character driven, less plot driven, but obviously a war is coming, and a firing squad for Orleano. So that's interesting. Maybe a little bit of a ending suspension. So it's a great way to set up something dramatic is going to happen when he faces the firing squad. And there's a whole 417 pages of this book. So like I said, about 60 pages through so far. I am enjoying it. Nothing super thrilling or exciting has happened, so I'm kind of expecting it to be a gentle coast to the finish, which is fine. Maybe we won't get a climactic book this month, who knows. I am almost done, so close to being done with Little Women. I think I have 4 chapters to go, or about 6-ish parts on the audiobook, so definitely I'm going to finish that one tonight. I love Little Women. I've loved it first. This is the first time I've ever read it in my life. I have watched the movies and heard snippets of it and listened to kids' versions, that kind of thing. But if you like Anne of Green Gables, or even a little bit of, Little House on the Prairie, that kind of thing, if, any of your kids, or if you liked that growing up, then you will love Little Women. It is like that, where, every chapter has a little morality lesson in it. Not cheesy, not like Aesop's Fables, but it's still character development, but it's the good kind of slice of life, where there is a continual theme and you get invested in the characters and you want to know what happens, and obviously there's some romance shipping, but it's so in the vein of Anne of Green Gables that I fell in love with it the first time I ever heard it. And that's my air conditioner. Vice versa, if you love Little Women, you'll love Anne of Green Gables for the same reason. So now that my air conditioning unit is kicked on and it's making a racket, I'm going to end this vlog here. Thank you for joining me, and I'm going to show you the last clip of this vlog, a really exciting thing that I discovered in my garden today. So go ahead and like this video if you want to know more about what it is to be a librarian, or you like reading vlogs. Go ahead and like this video and subscribe, because it lets me know what you guys want to see. And as always, a huge thank you to the friends and family who have readily supported me along this journey. It truly means the world to me, and I can't wait to see us on the next page. Cheers.